Okay, so now let us start with chapter 242 of your Harrison's textbook of internal medicine and the last chapter of our section 2 also. So this chapter is about the diagnostic cardiac catheterization and coronary angiography. The diagnostic cardiac catheterization and coronary angiography are considered the gold standard for evaluation of anatomy and physiology of heart and coronary vasculature. Obviously हम लोग स्क्रीनिंग के लिए तो नॉन इन्वेजिव टेक्निक्स लाइक ECG, echo, CMR, all that we use, but of course absolute gold standard diagnostic तो coronary angiography and cardiac catheterization ही है. These provide direct hemodynamic measurements, precise anatomic visualization of coronary arteries, and definitive assessment of valvular, myocardial, and congenital heart disease. So we have a historical background to it. In 1929, Forsman demonstrated the feasibility of cardiac catheterization in humans. He passed a catheter from an arm vein to right atrium and confirmed the position using X-ray. In 1940s, Conard and Richards applied techniques to patients with cardiovascular diseases and they evaluated cardiac function and hemodynamics. For their efforts in 1956, Forsman, Conard, and Richards were awarded the Nobel Prize. In 1958, Sohns accidentally performed the first selective coronary angiography. The catheter got engaged in the right coronary artery and contrast was injected. It provided excellent anatomic details without adverse effects. Now, Judkins developed the preformed coronary catheters and allowed widespread adoption of coronary angiography. The current scenario is that it is the second most common operative procedure in USA and almost 1 million procedures done annually. So that was the introduction. Now coming to the cardiac catheterization. So अगर बेसिक बात करें सो कार्डियक कैथेटराइजेशन इज जो ट्यूब है उसको हम लोग हार्ट तक जो गाइडेड थेरेपी से लेके जाएंगे दैट इज कार्डियक कैथेटराइजेशन और वहाँ पर हम कॉन्ट्रास्ट और एक्सरे की मदद से जो इमेज जनरेट करेंगे दैट इज कोरोनरी एंजियोग्राफी. So what are the indications? The general indications are to evaluate the extent and severity of cardiac diseases, to decide between medical therapy, surgical intervention and catheter based intervention. हमारे पास तीन ऑप्शंस हैं, या तो हम मेडिसिन से ट्रीट कर सकते हैं या एक सर्जरी परफॉर्म हो सकती है और वी कैन डू दिस कैथेटर बेस्ड इंटरवेंशन ऑल्सो. Symptomatic patients with equivocal non-invasive test and a chest of pain of unclear etiology में भी हम लोग cardiac catheterization perform कर सकते हैं. When not mandatory, in younger patients with uncomplicated congenital heart diseases, well-defined valvular disease or no symptoms or of CAD or risk factors. Now, what are the indications for cardiac catheterization and coronary angiography? First is the coronary artery disease. Asymptomatic हो या फिर symptomatic भी हो सकती है. High risk non-invasive testing, sudden cardiac death, sustained monomorphic VT ventricular tachycardia more than 30 seconds और non-sustained polymorphic VT less than 30 seconds में हम कर सकते हैं. In symptomatic CCS class 2nd to 4th stable angina on medical therapy, then it can be done for acute coronary syndromes UA or NSTEMI and for chest pain with equivocal non-invasive test. ठीक है, ये तो this was for coronary artery disease. Now coming to the ST segment elevation MI with primary, we can do primary PCI and it can also be done with persistent or recurrent ischemia, pulmonary edema or decreased ejection fraction, for cardiogenic shock or hemodynamic instability, for post-MI risk stratification, and mechanical complications like mitral regurgitation or ventricular septal defect. Okay, next it can be done for valvular heart disease, symptomatic severe valve disease which have the following features like dyspnea, angina, heart failure, syncope. Can be done for infective endocarditis requiring surgery, asymptomatic AR with left ventricular enlargement or decreased ejection fraction. It has to be done prior to cardiac surgery, TEVAR or percutaneous valve interventions. Now it can also be done for congestive heart failure, for detection of new onset angina, suspected CAD, and new onset cardiomyopathy of unclear etiology. It can also be done for congenital heart disease, for pre-surgical or pre-intervention evaluation, and for suspected coronary anomalies. It can be done for pericardial disease, for suspected cardiac tamponade or constrictive pericarditis. It can also be done in cases of cardiac transplantation for preoperative and post-transplant surveillance. And other conditions in which coronary angiography and this catheterization is done are hypertrophic cardiomyopathy with angina and aortic disease when coronary involvement affects the management. Now, the risk of cardiac catheterization. The major risk for cardiac catheterization is for an elective procedure. There can be a less than 0.1% chance of myocardial infarction, 0.01% chance of stroke, and 0.05% chance of death is also there. In hospital mortality, elective plus emergent cases में 1.4% नोट करी गई है. It's higher in acute MI, hemodynamic instability and emergency procedures. Other complications can arise like arrhythmias or acute renal failure. Arrhythmias can be tachyarrhythmia or bradyarrhythmia. There can be CIN, contrast-induced nephropathy. There can be vascular complications and access site bleeding. It's the most common of the all complications, around 1.5 to 2% of the cases. Now, what are the contraindications for the procedure? Absolute contraindication is none when life-saving intervention is anticipated. Relative contraindications are there like decompensated heart failure, acute renal failure, severe CKD unless dialysis is planned, bacteremia, acute stroke, active GI bleeding, excessive anticoagulation, severe electrolyte imbalance, history of contrast anaphylaxis without premedication, and aspirin allergy when PCI is likely. Okay, so in all these cases we can like switch to some other alternatives. ओके सो देर आर बिकॉज हमें एक्सरे में जनरेट करने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ कॉन्ट्रास्ट डाई डालनी पड़ेगी सो देर आर सम कॉन्ट्रास्ट रिलेटेड कॉम्प्लिकेशंस एज वेल. There is contrast allergy. The incidence is less than 5%, and severe reactions are there in 0.1 to 2.2% cases. Clinical features are they can be mild nausea, vomiting, urticaria, and in severe features there can be shock, pulmonary edema, or cardiorespiratory arrest can also be there. What is the prevention for it? For more than 24 hours, corticosteroids and H1 antihistamines should be given, and we should use non-ionic low osmolar contrast. Okay, now there can be contrast-induced acute kidney injury, CI-AKI, or contrast-induced nephropathy as well. So CI-AKI is classified as creatinine more than 0.5 mg per dl or more than 25% baseline within 48 to 72 hours. Incidence is general in 2 to 7%, and in high-risk populations it is 20 to 30%. Risk factors हैं diabetes mellitus, CHF, CKD, anemia, old age and STEMI. प्रिवेंशन इज हाइड्रेशन थेरेपी. भाई जितनी जल्दी ये किडनी से एक्सक्रीट हो जाएंगे उतना कम कॉम्प्लिकेशन के चांसेस होंगे. सो IV नॉर्मल सलाइन इज गिवन 1 to 1.5 ml per kg per hour 3 to 12 hours before and 6 to 24 hours after तक भी देते हैं. लिमिट contrast should be less than 50 ml. Low or isosmolar contrast should be there, and sodium bicarbonate infusion एक ऑल्टरनेटिव के तौर पे काम में लिया जा सकता है. And we have to stop metformin 28 hours before the performance of the procedure, and we restart it 48 hours after the procedure. Okay, now N-acetylcysteine is no longer routinely recommended. Okay, now what is the pre-procedure management? So pre-procedure, so ये सब complications and risk factors and सब चीज़ों की बात हो चुकी है. Now coming to the procedure, and the pre-procedure management involves fasting for 6 hours. Then continuous IV sedation. We give aspirin 325 mg. And if PCI has to be done, percutaneous intervention has to be done, then we give clopidogrel, prasugrel, and prasugrel should be avoided if stroke history or age is more than equal to 75 years. And also we give ticagrelor. Warfarin has to be stopped 2 to 3 days. Okay. And DOACs have to be stopped 24 to 48 hours prior. Okay, and no antibiotic prophylaxis is required for this procedure. So टेक्निक के अंदर क्या है? फर्स्ट हमें कोई भी ब्लड वेसल एक्सेस करनी है. सो आर्टीरियल एक्सेस हो सकता है और वीनस एक्सेस हो सकता है. आर्टीरियल एक्सेस में वी प्रेफर रेडियल आर्टरी which are most preferred, or femoral artery or brachial artery in some rare cases. Venous axis के अंदर femoral vein, internal jugular vein and antecubital vein can be used. Radial axis के advantages ये हैं कि it has a lower bleeding risk and early ambulation and better patient comfort. Patient क्योंकि वो deep situated होती हैं, so like the discomfort is less likely. So the pre-access tests are the modified Allen's test and Barbeau's test to avoid any complications during the procedure. Now, right heart catheterization अगर हमें करना है तो indications क्या क्या हो सकते हैं उसके लिए? It can be unexplained dyspnea, pulmonary hypertension, valvular disease, pericardial disease, congenital heart disease और suspected shunts. इन सब के अंदर हमें right heart catheterization करने की ज़रूरत पड़ सकती है. सो राइट हार्ट कैथेटराइजेशन में हम लोग क्या मेजर करना चाहते हैं? राइट एट्रियम का प्रेशर, राइट वेंट्रिकुलर का प्रेशर, राइट वेंट्रिकल का प्रेशर, पल्मोनरी आर्टरी का प्रेशर, PCWP का प्रेशर, LA सरोगेट है ना, एंड ऑक्सीजन सैचुरेशन एंड ऑल्सो दी कार्डियक आउटपुट. अगर लेफ्ट हार्ट कैथेटराइजेशन करना है सो पर्पस क्या होगा? टू एसेस लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकुलर प्रेशर एंड परफॉर्मेंस. टेक्निक क्या होगी? कैथेटर अक्रॉस द एओर्टिक वाल्व इनटू द लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल में जाना है हमको, एंड दिस इज कॉन्ट्रा इंडिकेटेड इन टिल्टिंग डिस्क प्रोस्थेटिक वाल्व्स. ओके, तो उसमें हम ये अवॉइड करेंगे. देयर इज अ ट्रांससेप्टल अप्रोच ऑल्सो यूज्ड व्हेन वॉल्व क्रॉसिंग इज कॉन्ट्रा इंडिकेटेड एंड इज ऑल्सो यूज्ड फॉर मिट्रल वाल्वुलोप्लास्टी. फॉर एंटीकोएगुलेशन जो एंटीकोएगुलेंट्स हम देंगे दे कैन बी हेपारिन एंड ऑल्टरनेटिव्स लाइक विवालुरिडीन एंड अग्राटोबैन इन HIT पेशेंट्स. सो अब हीमोडायनेमिक असेसमेंट हमें इससे परफॉर्म करना है. सो प्रेशर वेव फॉर्म्स लेंगे. आर्टीरियल में A वेव फॉर एट्रियल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन एंड V वेव फॉर वेंट्रिकुलर सिस्टोल. वेंट्रिकल्स के अंदर लो डायस्टोलिक फिलिंग प्रेशर एंड शार्प सिस्टोलिक अपस्ट्रोक हम लोग इससे कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. अगर वैल्वुलर स्टीनोसिस है लाइक एओर्टिक स्टीनोसिस देन देयर इज अ सिस्टोलिक लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल टू एओर्टा ग्रेडियंट, एंड फॉर मिट्रल स्टीनोसिस देयर इज अ डायस्टोलिक PCWP टू left ventricle gradient. Now, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy भी diagnosed हो सकती है. The features are dynamic intraventricular gradient and this is measured by a catheter pullback. There is also something known as Brockenbrough-Brunwald sign. इसमें increased left ventricular aortic gradient after PVC हमें देखने को मिलेगा and decreased aortic pulse pressure देखने को मिलेगा. This is absent in aortic stenosis. Okay. We can also diagnose some regurgitant lesions like mitral or tricuspid regurgitation हम diagnose कर सकते हैं with a large V wave and these reflect atrial compliance. For aortic regurgitation, we will notice reduced aortic diastolic pressure, increased LVEDP and end diastolic pressure equalization will also be there. Okay, now by this technique only we can differentiate between cardiac tamponade versus constrictive pericarditis versus restrictive cardiomyopathy. Cardiac tamponade की जब हम बात करेंगे तो हमें elevated right atrium का pressure मिलेगा, absent Y descent होगा and diastolic equalization of pressures होगा. In case of constrictive pericarditis there will be a prominent Y descent, there will be a square root sign and a discordant ventricular pressures with inspiration will be there. अगर restrictive cardiomyopathy की बात की जाएगी there will be very high right ventricle and pulmonary artery pressures more than 60 mm Hg and left ventricle right ventricle diastolic pressure difference will be more than 5 mm of Hg and इसी के साथ में there will be some concordant respiratory changes. Now how do we measure the cardiac output by this testing? Okay, so fixed method is most reliable in tricuspid regurgitation and low output states. So the formula for this cardiac output measurement is cardiac output will be equal to fraction of oxygen consumed upon the arteriovenous oxygen saturation difference. इससे हम लोग cardiac output measure कर सकते हैं. Normal cardiac output is around 5 liters. Thermodilution can be done in some cases by cold saline injection and temperature change is detected in pulmonary artery. Now we can also determine the vascular resistance by this that will be systemic vascular resistance will be equal to mean arterial pressure minus right atrium ka pressure upon cardiac output into it AT. And similarly, pulmonary vascular resistance will be PVR will be equal to mean pulmonary artery ka pressure minus pulmonary capillaries ka wedge pressure divided by cardiac output into AT. Okay, now we also have some formulas for valve area calculation. We have a Grolin's formula. In severe aortic stenosis, so in severe aortic stenosis को हम classify करेंगे जब valve area is less than 1 centimeter square और mean gradient is more than 40 mm of Hg. Severe mitral stenosis को हम classify करेंगे when the valve area is less than 1.5 centimeter square. Okay, there is a modified Haki formula for it in which we divide the cardiac output upon the square root of the gradient to identify the AVA. So other than Gorlein's formula, we can determine the aortic valve area by this formula also. Now there are some intracardiac shunts also sometimes. Okay, so if there is a left to right shunt, we call it a step up shunt. And if there is a right to left shunt, then we call it as a step down shunt. So shunt quantification के लिए वो oxygen delivered per minute and required per minute का ratio होता है QP upon QS is systemic artery में oxygen minus mixed vein के अंदर oxygen divided by pulmonary vein के अंदर oxygen minus pulmonary artery के अंदर oxygen. Okay, so जो shunt quantification है इससे अगर more than equal to 1.5 आ रहा है ये, so we suspect ASD is significant, and if this comes out to be more than equal to 2.0 with left ventricular overload, then VSD is there and there is an indication for surgery. Okay, so this was all about the diagrammatic or the pictorial representation and the inference that we can draw from the this cardiac angiography. Now we also have the ventriculography and aortography. So left ventriculography में क्या करना चाहते हैं हम? Left ventriculography is an invasive imaging technique performed during cardiac catheterization to assess the left ventricular size, shape, wall motion, systolic function and mitral valve की competence. So what will be the technique? A pigtail catheter is advanced retrograde across the aortic valve into the left ventricle. So हम लोग enter कर रहे हैं aorta से aortic valve के through left ventricle के अंदर जा रहे हैं. 30 to 45 ml of iodinated contrast is power injected and imaging is performed throughout the cardiac cycle. So image के मतलब 2-3 projections हो सकते हैं. So right anterior oblique view हो सकता है which is the standard projection and is best for global and regional wall motion and mitral valve function. Left anterior oblique view हो सकता है. This is useful for detecting ventricular septal defects VSDs. तो अब हम वॉल मोशन को कैसे कैसे असेस कर सकते हैं? वॉल मोशन का पैटर्न अगर नॉर्मल है, सो व्हाट विल बी सी? विल सी अ सिमेट्रिक कॉन्ट्रैक्शन ऑफ ऑल द सेगमेंट्स. इफ देयर इज रिड्यूस्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, वी डिफाइन इट एज हाइपोकाइनेसिया. If there is absence of contraction, we'll call it as akinesia, and if there is paradoxical outward bulging during systole, we'll call it as dyskinesia. Now, all these wall motion abnormalities correlate with some coronary artery disease or some prior myocardial infarction or ischemic cardiomyopathy. We can also detect the structural abnormalities like left ventricular aneurysm, pseudoaneurysm, or a ventricular diverticulum. Now, the assessment of mitral valve can also be done by ventriculography. So, mitral valve prolapse will be seen as an abnormal systolic billowing of mitral leaflets into the left atrium. And mitral regurgitation, MR grading can also be done with this. Severity is assessed by comparing contrast density of left atrium relative to the left ventricle. So, अब हमने left atrium और ventricle की contrast density करनी है. If the grade is 1+, there is a minimal reflux into the left atrium. If there is a moderate reflux, we categorize it as grade 2+. If the left atrium fills completely after more than equal to 3 beats, we classify it as 3+. And the left atrium density is more than left ventricle and there is pulmonary vein reflux within 3 beats, we categorize it as 4+. And 3+ and 4+ are severe mitral regurgitation के cases. Now we can also do some hemodynamic calculations. We can calculate the end diastolic volume and systolic volume, stroke volume, cardiac output and ejection fraction, all from this ventriculography. Now next up is the aortography. Aortography is an invasive angiographic technique used to evaluate the ascending aorta, aortic valves, great vessels and aortopulmonary connections. So कब कब हम ये करेंगे? When we suspect aortic aneurysm or aortic dissection or we evaluate aortic regurgitation, इन सब के लिए हम लोग ये परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं. This is done for visualization of patent saphenous vein graft, patent ductus arteriosus and also for the great vessel anatomy demonstration. So findings क्या क्या मिल सकती हैं? If there is an aortic dissection, we will see a visualization of intimal flap and true and false lumina and compression of the true lumen will be seen. For aortic regurgitation, we can do a qualitative grading 1+ to 4+, similar to mitral regurgitation grading. Okay, then we have a technique called as cinefluoroscopy of the prosthetic mechanical valve. So cinefluoroscopy is a non-invasive fluoroscopic technique used to assess the mechanical prosthetic valve leaflet motion. कब करेंगे? When we suspect prosthetic valve dysfunction in patients with subtherapeutic INR, prothrombotic state, recent heart failure, cardiogenic shock, cardiac arrest, thromboembolism और rising transvalvular gradient on echo. So क्या causes हो सकते हैं prosthetic valve dysfunction के? They can be valve thrombosis, they can be pannus formation on the valves and they can be mechanical obstruction of the valves. Incidence है लेफ्ट साइडेड प्रोस्थेटिक वाल्व थ्रोम्बोसिस का 0.1 to 6% पर पेशेंट पर ईयर. ओके, पर पेशेंट ईयर में 0.1 to 6% इतना हो सकता है. टेक्निक क्या है? valves are imaged in phase and at a 90-degree angle. Multiple cardiac cycles are recorded and manufacturer specified leaflet opening and closing angles are used as the reference. भाई जो भी आपका valve prosthetic है उसके ऊपर एक एंगल मैन्युफैक्चरर का लिखा हुआ होगा एंड एक्चुअल में क्या हो रहा है इसको हम लोग कंपेयर करेंगे. सो सिनेफ्लोरोस्कोपी के एडवांटेजेस हैं कि दैट इट इज रैपिड, वाइडली अवेलेबल, मिनिमल रेडिएशन एंड नो कॉन्ट्रास्ट इज रिक्वायर्ड. नाउ कमिंग ऑन टू सेलेक्टिव कोरोनरी एंजियोग्राफी. Now, selective coronary angiography is an invasive imaging technique used to define epicardial coronary artery anatomy and some severity of disease and bypass graft की patency. What are the techniques? We have specially shaped catheters which engage in the left coronary ostium and the right coronary ostium. We have a hand ejection of the radio-opaque contrast. Then images are recorded as sign angiography and multiple orthogonal projections are used to avoid the vessel overlap or foreshortening. मतलब कोई error ना आए, that is why we use multiple orthogonal projections. So what will be the normal coronary anatomy of the major coronary arteries? The left main coronary artery divides into the left anterior descending and left circumflex artery and there is a right coronary artery as well. So एक चीज़ होती है coronary dominance की कौन सी coronary artery is more dominant. If there is a right dominant coronary artery, there will be blood flow to PDA from RCA. Okay, ये approximately 85% of cases में ये होता है. Okay, then if there is a left coronary dominance, there will be blood flow in PDA from left circumflex. Okay, and if there is ये 5% cases में होता है, and in 10% cases there is co-dominance like PDA from RCA and PL from left circumflex भी देखा जा सकता है. So normal variants क्या है? They can be ramus intermedius branch, ये एक extra branch हो सकती है, and separate left anterior descending and left circumflex ostia भी हो सकते हैं. This is the most common normal anomaly. ठीक है, अब coronary anomalies जो है वो 1 to 2% cases में हो सकती हैं and separate left anterior descending and left circumflex ostia 0.41% cases में हो सकते हैं. सो अब कोरोनरी स्टेनोसिस है कि नहीं, इसका एक विजुअल एस्टिमेशन कैसे होगा? परसेंट स्टेनोसिस इज डिटरमिन्ड बाय कंपेयरिंग डिजीज सेगमेंट टू द एडजेसेंट नॉर्मल सेगमेंट. अगर 50% से ज़्यादा स्टेनोसिस है तो दैट इज सिग्निफिकेंट. ओके, दैट कैन बी क्वांटिटेटिव कोरोनरी एंजियोग्राफी QCA एज वेल. दिस इज कंप्यूटर बेस्ड, मोर एक्यूरेट एंड reduces visual overestimation. भाई आँख से देख के तो आप एक अंदाज़ा दे सकते हैं. So this will be more reliable and more accurate. So there will be special angiographic findings. Myocardial bridge देखने को मिल सकता है. A vessel dips into the myocardium. Systolic compression is there and normal caliber in diastole is there. Okay, coronary calcification can be seen. This is visible even before contrast injection. And collateral circulation may be seen. This is seen in chronic severe stenosis or occlusion. Okay, next up there is a TIMI flow grading. TIMI 0 is, it means there is no flow. If there is minimal penetration, we classify it as TIMI 1. Delayed filling is classified as TIMI 2 and normal flow is classified as TIMI 3. TIMI 1 to 2 suggest कि भाई हाँ स्टेनोसिस बहुत ज़्यादा सीवियर है. नाउ अब ये कोरोनरी असेसमेंट की एडवांस टेक्निक्स जो अभी रिसेंट अवेलेबल हैं वो क्या है? देयर इज एन इंट्रावैस्कुलर अल्ट्रासाउंड IVUS. The principle is high frequency ultrasound is used approximately 40 megahertz and this provides cross sectional imaging of the vessel wall. The uses are plaque characterization for luminal area measurement, for vessel sizing and for stent expansion and apposition assessment. Okay, now there is OCT, optical coherence tomography. The principle ये है कि near infrared light based imaging होती है. Advantages ये हैं कि superior spatial resolution up to 12 to 18 micrometers can be done and there is an excellent plaque characterization and detailed stent assessment is also there. Limitation ये है कि इसका tissue penetration काफ़ी कम होता है. Also, we can determine the fractional flow reserve. This is the ratio of the distal coronary pressure divided by the proximal pressure. Okay, the technique for this is pressure sensor guide wire and adenosine induced hyperemia can also be done. If FFR is less than 0.8, that means this is hemodynamically significant and this predicts benefit from revascularization. कि भाई इस पेशेंट के अंदर रिवैस्कुलराइजेशन करने से फायदा होगा. There is instantaneous wave free ratio IFR. This is measured during diastole. No adenosine is required. And if IFR is less than 0.89, it means ischemia is there. Now there is something called as coronary flow reserve. This is the ratio of maximal hyperemic flow to the resting flow. This is the indication for this is suspected microvascular dysfunction and chest pain with normal coronaries. Abnormal value of CFR is less than 2.0. सो ये तो सब आपने प्रोसीजर में कर लिया एंड आपने इन्फ्रेंस ले ली, वेंट्रिकुलोग्राफी कर ली, एओर्टोग्राफी कर ली. देन अब पोस्ट ऑप केयर में क्या है? शीथ का जो रिमूवल होगा, फीमोरल एक्सिस के अंदर मैनुअल कंप्रेशन करना होगा. वैस्कुलर क्लोजर डिवाइसेस हमें चाहिए लाइक कोलाजन प्लग, सूचर्स, स्टेपल्स एंड क्लिप्स, जहाँ से भी आपने एंट्री साइड लिए. ओके, रेडियल एक्सेस अगर किया है तो कंप्रेशन रिस्ट बैंड विद एयर ब्लैडर देना होगा क्योंकि प्रेशर कंप्रेशन करना होगा. हमने आर्टरी में अंदर पेनिट्रेट किया है. एंड रेडियल फ्लो भी बना रहना चाहिए बट कंप्रेस भी होना चाहिए. एंड बेड रेस्ट 2 आवर्स के लिए पेशेंट को सजेस्ट करना है. द पोस्ट प्रोसीजर मॉनिटरिंग क्या करनी है? वाइटल साइंस देखने हैं, ब्लीडिंग साइड देखनी है कि भाई वहाँ पर ब्लीड तो नहीं हो रहा है. एंड यूरिन आउटपुट एंड रीनल फंक्शंस टेस्ट करने हैं. क्यों करने हैं? बिकॉज हमने कॉन्ट्रास्ट इंजेक्ट किया है एंड दैट कैन रिजल्ट इन CIN और एक्यूट CKI. नाउ डिस्चार्ज इंस्ट्रक्शंस क्या हैं कि लिबरल ओरल फ्लूइड्स से पे होना चाहिए पेशेंट. ओके, अवॉइड स्टर्नस एक्टिविटी एंड मॉनिटर द एक्सेस साइट, उस पर कोई इन्फेक्शन या ब्लीड तो नहीं हो रहा है. आप ओवरनाइट ऑब्जर्वेशन में भी रख सकते हैं पेशेंट्स को जब अगर वो हाई रिस्क पेशेंट्स हैं, कोई प्रोसीजर में कोई कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हुई थी या फिर कॉम्प्लेक्स परक्यूटेनियस इंटरवेंशन आपने किया है. नाउ व्हाट कैन बी द कॉम्प्लिकेशंस? पोस्ट कैथ कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हो सकते हैं कि अर्ली हाइपोटेंशन हो, like volume depletion or retroperitoneal bleed can be there, and there can be radiation injury. If 2 GY तक है तो inspect skin and 5 GY तक है तो follow up within 1 month. Okay, so this has completed our chapter 242 and now we'll discuss the images of both chapter 241 and 242 collectively in the next video. Okay, so like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.